Hi, welcome back and welcome to the Way Out Tarot. This reading will be for those of you who have a Virgo sun, a Virgo moon, or a Virgo rising. If your birthday's already passed, happy belated birthday. I hope that it was a phenomenal one and that you had as wonderful of a time as you deserve. So if it's your first time watching a video of mine, I read these cards intuitively and attempt to convey messages that I'm guided to convey with the intention in mind that it'll be helpful and meaningful and useful to you. I encourage you to take everything back to God. I encourage you to take anything that comes up, take anything that you feel to a licensed mental health counselor, and I encourage you to do some processing of your own and make decisions of your own. Anyone who tells you that you should do something one way or you should do it this way or that way, I want you to exercise caution when you encounter people who carry themselves as though they are the answer. I think that you know better. I think that you've been practicing good judgment for some time. And I think you should trust that. So you and I are going to have a very long overdue chat. And we'll get started with just pulling one card to start. But let's just get a good shuffle. I went out and got some tulips. I wanted to have the flowers for your video. I hope you like them. This date feels very auspicious. September 19th. Not so much the year as the month and the day I'm getting are more prominent. But doing this reading now feels right. So let's roll with it. We have a saying on the Way Out Tarot that lies of omission are still lies. Things you choose to not reveal. You may have your reasons. And I think that we all, not just you, have a tendency to try to justify our behavior, try to rationalize our way of thinking, when what we want is on the other side of that tail that we spin to get it. it's very that it's not about what you choose to reveal, it's about what you artfully conceal. And I think that you've gotten very good at I want to say hiding something, but I don't want to accuse you, so that's not what this is. There is just something here that feels like it's taboo to talk about, or something that maybe feels like you don't want to be entirely forthright or honest about. Be very careful with this, because the things you choose to hide, they have the potential to make themselves known when you least expect it, and they have the potential to come out in ways that you have no control over. And there are a few things that scare a Virgo, like the prospect of not having control. And I think that when you are in control of information, when there are things that you're privy to, knowledge that you have, it is sacred to you. Your intellect is a source of power for you. And that knowledge that you have and how you use this power, well, it says a lot about who you are as a person. And I'm just going to leave it at that. The purpose of this is not to accuse you again. It's here, in the cards. The Magician and the Ace of Swords reeks of manipulation. Some of you aren't lying to anyone else, and you're not hiding anything from anyone else. For some of you, it's something that you're unwilling to admit to yourself. Something that you've needed to face about yourself and recognize within yourself something that is long overdue, that has been begging for you to see it, that's been begging for you to give attention to it. And we can get very far in life. There are so many things that we can build and so many things that we can have, and your entire personality and your sense of security can be built on this perception you have that you're in control and that everything is okay. I don't think we need any more cards. So we're going to stop right here. I'm going to take a look at these and we'll take a look at them together in a second. Hold on. All right. Welcome back here, and I've been sitting with the cards for a moment and I'm ready to talk about them with you. I don't know if I'm going to flip the camera angle so that you can see them upright like I can see them. That's to be determined in editing when I'm, kind of deciding what I want to do with that. But I'll work all that out later. Let's talk about what's here. Now, I put the Ace of Swords by itself because I just want to talk about that card alone for a moment. I think that this time of year is very much about the truth. The truth of the situation, the truth of the circumstances, the truth you're willing to admit to other people, and the truth you're willing to admit to yourself. It starts there. And I think that what you choose to reveal to other people and admit to other people, if it's something that it seems like you're being very choosy about that. There's some information that's privileged, and I'm not going to knock you for that, and I'm not going to judge you for that, because not everything that goes on in your life is everyone's business. And like we said, you have your reasons when it comes to deciding what you choose to let people in on and what you choose to withhold. And whatever your reasons are, if they're ethically sound, then I respect that and I have no issue with that. That being said, if what you're choosing to withhold is something that you know is critical information, or something that you know that if someone knew about, it would have the potential to impact their lives in the way that it would inform their decision-making process, or that it's critical information that would be helpful to them, but potentially harmful to you if they knew about it, I challenge you to examine that and take a closer look at that. That's all I'm saying. Just examine it, zoom out for a moment, and really ask yourself that question of whether it is the right thing to do or not to be forthright and to tell them and to be open and to be honest, or not. If you're going to withhold whatever that is and let the chips fall where they may, and just watch how things play out. If this information is going to prove to be helpful to someone, I am going to encourage you to share it, because it's the kind and human thing to do. Now, you may hurt feelings, you may hurt their feelings, but they will be better for it in the long run. You know, your symbol in the zodiac is a human woman. You know, and we all look to you, and I don't want to put all this pressure on you, but I just think that you are the perfect model of the ideal human. You carry with you the essence and the spirit of humanity. The best of us is what you represent, is who you represent. This is your legacy. And there are few people who can show up this way as genuinely and as authentically as you do. This is the potential you have within you, being a Virgo. I'm not going to put this pressure on you. Again, it's your decision. I just want you to identify with this part of your nature that I see in you, this humanity and this beauty that I see in you and recognize in you, and that I think you recognize in yourself. So when I say that you've been practicing good judgment, I mean that because this is something that you do this throughout your life. A Virgo can always be trusted to be loyal, to be honest, to say the difficult thing. And I think that if you're trying to decide whether or not to speak up. And you want to, I want you to know that it's okay. I think that to hold your tongue and to be fake and to act like you don't see what's going on, I think that it harms you. It hurts you this month. It hurts you this time of year. Pretending like everything is okay helps no one. Honesty can be very character building. It's the best policy no matter how badly it may sting. You will find that the more frank you are, the more honest you are, the more like yourself you will feel. I won't try to tell you who you are, but I think that when you don't exercise that critical muscle that you have, that muscle for critique, that when that desire that you have for correcting and for bringing the rational point of view and perspective to the table isn't exercised, when it's not given the opportunity to shine, I think that you rob us all of that element of realness that we so desperately need, and it takes you farther and farther away from yourself, and farther away from what you want. And the irony is that there are a lot of things that you achieve and that you get along the way. But what we don't want is that from the outside looking in, it looks great, the form is right, but the substance and what's underneath and what's within is void, is null, is not there. So it has to have meaning. And I think that you know that if you're not honest with everyone and yourself, it will eat away at you. And this is when the self-sabotage can happen. Just want to make sure we still have a picture. Now, I'm going to share something about myself briefly here, and I promise it's relevant. There are so many excuses. This is what I've come to recognize them as. Excuses that I've told myself to keep me from putting these videos out. If it's that I had too much going on with work, or that, I was moving and I don't really have a dedicated area to record to where, I would feel comfortable. I had a broken tripod, so I didn't really have, these were all just excuses, things that I was telling myself trying to justify why I could not sit myself down to record these videos. And it's taken me such a long time to stop making excuses for myself, and to sit myself down to do this. And it goes a little bit deeper than making excuses. To do this means that I am in this with you, and the energies we're talking about are we're all connected, and I must face these things within myself also. So there is an element of unreadiness within myself that I had to acknowledge and really own. I think that there is something that I was just unwilling to face within myself. And to not be able to do that within myself, how can I come on camera and do this authentically and do this honestly and create a space where in which you feel comfortable to do that in your own life? That would be the height of hypocrisy. And that's not the kind of space that I'm trying to create. So there are things in my life that I have struggled with, destructive habits that I have struggled with. Whether that's addiction and, really recognizing it as such and seeing it as something in my life that needs to be changed, something in my life that needs to be worked on for longevity and for my health. And there are demons that you may have that may take on a different form, that you're being asked to face at this time in order to slay them. These are the things that may be begging your attention. And I promise this isn't meant to be projection. And I understand that there are some of you who may be watching this who may not think that there's anything within that you need to fix, or anything within that you need to change, or anything that you're unwilling to face or admit to yourself or admit to other people. Then, let this message pass you by if you truly feel that way, and let someone else who it may help receive it. We are all in this together and having a human experience. And we all have shit to sort out and shit to work through. Yours may not be identical to mine, or identical to your brothers or your sisters or your mothers or your fathers. But it requires your attention all the same, and it requires your grace all the same. This grace is something that you must give yourself and give to other people. Allow yourself to examine these parts of your life that need changing, and be brave enough to give yourself the space to work through them without judgment. I hope to create a safe enough space here where you can acknowledge those openly and know that there's at least one other person in the world who isn't judging you for them. And there's at least one other person in the world who has every bit of confidence that you can overcome it. I have so much faith in you and your ability. And I think that you deserve to live in your truth. I think that there is room in the world for the kind of honesty we've been talking about here. And the type of honesty I'm talking about, just to be a little bit more precise, we must make a distinction between, honesty that is intentional and honesty that is brutal, just for the sake of being brutal. That's not the type of honesty that I'm talking about here. I'm talking about a kind of godlike honesty that has the potential to change lives, other people's and your own, from the inside out. If you can be brave enough to face these things that need changing and come up with a plan of action, then this can be a very rewarding and fruitful time for you. Now, the reward may not be an immediate one, and it may not be one that you get the next day or the week after that, but it's one that will pay you dividends for years to come. If you can see that, if you can know that, I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you next time.